do have some We do have some more people coming from midterms, as I said. It's a crazy week for students, but most of us are here, and so we can go ahead and get started. And then as people come in, they can just join us. We do have this meeting being recorded as usual, and recordings are available typically within 24 hours after the workshop. You can access them through the Rec Innovation Lab YouTube channel. And these videos are provided, and these workshops are provided through the Regional Entrepreneurship Center at in San Diego at the San Diego Miramar College Community College Rec Innovation Lab, and we're really excited about being able to provide these for everybody. This is the third out of 4 in a series of workshops from Gwen, and I'm not going to, I won't introduce Gwen. I'll actually pass it over to one of our interns who works at the Rec Innovation Lab, Ryan Merricken, who will introduce our guest speaker for today. So Ryan, take it away.
Thank you, Tanya. And thank you to everyone else for attending Knowing Others, Understanding People's Emotions with Gwen Franco. Gwen Franco is a learning and development manager at the Hyatt Hotels in San Diego, and she'll be elaborating more about herself now. So thank you, Gwen. The floor is yours.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I am very excited to be here again. I absolutely enjoy supporting this community so much, and this is a topic that we're continuing to learn about. It's been broken up to 4 parts. Today we're on part 3, so very excited to share this with you. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen, and in my presentation I'll tell you a little bit more about my story for those of you who don't know me. I think by now most of you do know me and you know my story, but sometimes we have some newcomers, so there will be a little bit of repetition with that. So thank you so much everybody for understanding. Can everybody see my screen? If you cannot see the full presentation, please just let me know. But if not, I'm going to go ahead and continue. So our topic for today, part 3 of our emotional intelligence series, is understanding people's emotions. Really, really excited to dive into this. We've done the 2 parts of self already, and I'm going to do a recap. So now we're going to go into relationships with others, and that starts off with understanding people's emotions. So let's go ahead and start off by you getting to know me a little bit. So this is my brand, Craft Leadership. I work for Hyatt Hotels. My first adult job was a HR coordinator at the Hyatt Regency Huntington Beach. 13 years later, I am a manager on our Hyatt corporate office on the global talent management team, where I focus on global solutions when it comes to talent management. So it's absolutely my passion. It's what I love to do. It's really focused on helping people and the organization be their best and function that way. So it's I really am very lucky that I get to do what I love with a company that I love working for. So while within the company in my last role, I created Craft Leadership, and I became an intrapreneur, which is somebody who's within an organization that has entrepreneur-like skills and abilities, and you're able to kind of make your own decisions and create things. So I launched a podcast, I branded myself and such. And through that is that I was connected with Tanya. And at the Rec, what I do is I lead workshops mainly focused around leadership and soft skill development. So emotional intelligence is what I've done, confidence building. I mentor 3 groups, 3 startups, and really I'm focused on supporting entrepreneurs when it comes to culture, building your culture, onboarding, organizational development, performance management, recruitment, and coaching, really anything related to your development. I really believe in proactively working on yourself as a leader, because that is what you are as an entrepreneur and starting your company, so that you're not going to, when you're proactive, you won't have to wait 5 years later and think about, oh, wait a minute, I haven't worked on my skills to lead others and to build my company. So then you're reactive. So I want to support entrepreneurs at the Rec Center so that we're being proactive in your development. All right, let's talk a little bit about today's session. So what we're going to do is we're going to recap what is emotional intelligence and just how it relates to the self, because those are the 2 parts that we have already done. We need to explore the importance of understanding others, because that's what we're going to talk about today. And really the root of understanding is listening. So we're really going to focus on our listening skills. All right. Okay, so what is emotional intelligence? So emotional intelligence is really overall the ability to understand and manage your emotions and those of people around you, right? So people with a high degree of EI, emotional intelligence, know what they're feeling, what their feelings mean, and how it can affect others. So it's really essential for success, right? After all, when you think about it, who's going to be more successful? A person who is shouting when they're frustrated, when they're under stress, or someone who's able to stay calm, control their emotions, and assess what's really going on in the situation so that they can find a solution, right? So emotional intelligence is something that's in each of us, and it's intangible. So it really affects how we behave and how we navigate through social complexities, and really how we make personal decisions so we can achieve results. So you can understand how this is an important skill for you to develop as an entrepreneur, because there's lots of different things, lots of different skills and challenges that you will face. So I always like to share this because I think it just reiterates the importance of soft skill building. It's often not something that's given much importance when it comes to your entrepreneurial journey. But once again, the skills that have research shows these are some of the skills that are really needed when you are starting a business, when you are building something, right? Is all of these here: self-confidence, trustworthiness, achievement orientation. You can read the list, right? But when we think about those skills have to do with us and our ability to manage and understand ourselves and our emotions and how we behave, how we show up, and then in our ability to interact with other people and to build trusting working relationships with others so that we can move forward, right? Then when we think about what motivates entrepreneurs, you can look at all these things that are really what has driven you to want to become an entrepreneur. And yes, business skills are necessary to be a successful entrepreneur. However, emotional intelligence skills are necessary to support where the loss of identity occurs and become an entrepreneur. So sometimes there's a loss of the identity, right, where you become one with the business. So these emotional intelligence skills can help keep you focused on becoming more than that so that you can continue to grow your business. So these are the 4 areas of emotional intelligence. We went through self-awareness already. We went through self-regulation, and today we're focused on social awareness. So emotional intelligence is made up of 4 core skills that pair up under 2 primary competencies. And I just want you to think about it in the sense that these 2 right here, self-awareness and self-regulation, are focused on you, on understanding your emotions and then regulating the way that you behave. And then social awareness and relationship management are social competence. So social competence has to do with your ability to understand other people's emotions and what's going on with them, and then your ability to have healthy relationships with others and how you behave with others in relationships. Let's do a quick review of self, because those are the 2 parts that we already did. So remember self-awareness. If you're self-aware, you know how you feel. You know how your emotions and your actions can affect others around you, right? So it's one of the main things that we focused on was understanding what your triggers are. So we talked about the SCARF model and looking at that, and that was one way that we worked on self-awareness, right? So when you know what your trigger is, you can then recognize when there's a shift in your emotion that could lead you to behave in a way other than you want to. So that's a way to really be self-aware, is understanding your triggers. The other one that we learned about was self-regulation. So self-regulation is your ability to use awareness of your emotions to stay flexible and positively direct your behavior, right? So when we talk about your triggers, right? So you're triggered, and how do you behave? Do you maintain control of your behavior? And remember, we looked at this flow right here, right? There's a situation that occurs, you have a thought, you have an emotion, and then you behave accordingly. So it was really focused on understanding that emotion through the self-awareness so that you could behave accordingly as you wanted to, right? And we talked about the importance of practicing empathy and putting yourself in someone else's shoes, and some skills around that. A main one was about mastering the pause. So you would have a moment to, when you have an emotion and a thought, to then behave the way that you would like to. All right. So we're done with our review, and now what we're going to go into is we're going to dive straight into social awareness, right? So what is social awareness? Social awareness indicates your ability to look and to understand what other people's emotions are. And it's very often through nonverbal cues, because a large part of what we communicate is through nonverbal cues. Right now, our communication is a little bit different, obviously, because we are communicating virtually so much. So we are challenged to learn how to understand others' emotions a little bit differently. But there's still some key communication skills that we can use to help us understand other people's emotions, right? So people, and I put socially aware leaders because I want you to think of yourself in that way, right? If you are an entrepreneur, if you are a founder, whatever it may be, you're a leader in a sense, right? Because you're leading your business, you're leading your purpose, you're leading your vision, whatever it may be. And hopefully, I'm going to guess that most of you at some point hope to lead people. So hold yourself to that identity, right? So socially aware leaders are able to relate to very many different people, listen attentively, and communicate effectively. So that is what social awareness is. Now, I want you to think about, okay, so that's what it is. So why is it important to me? That's always a key thing, right? Is bringing it together. It's like, why does this matter to me? And what I've listed here are different ways in which social awareness will show up in your journey of being an entrepreneur, right? So when you are determining whether other people are being truthful in negotiations, right? There's a way that you have to be perceptive with other people and understand what's going on. And that's an important skill, right? Choosing the best job applicants when you're interviewing something, when you're trying to bring people along to help support your business, you want to bring on the best people. You want to bring on people who are passionate, who are genuine, and things like that. So you need to be able to understand and read other people. Determining the cause of substandard performance when you are helping coach someone or give feedback. And we're going to dive into that a lot more on the fourth class that we have, and we're going to talk about working towards having good relationships with people and giving effective feedback. Correctly gauging current moods and emotions of others. That's just a natural skill that you want to have in interacting and communicating with others. Influencing or persuading others' views to the desired one, right? So when you're trying to negotiate, when you're trying to influence others to invest or to buy your product or whatever, there has to be a level of social awareness in that interaction. Communication is paramount with every interaction with clients, partners, peers, clients, prospects, right? Communication is the way that you are going to sell your idea. You're going to anything, your idea, your product, your cause, and you need to do it with everybody who's a part of the process. And then in that, when you're communicating, you're building your network. Your network is what's going to help your business opportunities, partnership deals, finding subcontractors, or future employees, right? So all of these things here are all experiences that would happen throughout your journey in building your company and building your business. And they all require the skill of social awareness when it comes to emotional intelligence. So we need all of these, right? And all of these are needed because they help us have an understanding of others. They help us connect with other people. So what are like 3 areas that are mainly part of your experience when it comes to social awareness? And empathy was the first one. It's a very, very common one because when you think about it, you're putting yourself in someone else's shoes to understand their needs, right? So you're trying to understand what they're feeling. You're trying to read their emotions and such. Now, we focused the last one tremendously on empathy, so I didn't want that to be our focus today. Our focus is going to be more around organizational awareness and service, right? So with organizational awareness, you can read kind of what's going on with people around you. You're aware of what's going on around you, not from just I would say the technical parts and such, but it's also the emotional parts. And you can think about it with people that you have at times, that you can even predict how someone is going to behave. When you are able to know how someone will react to something that you will say or how the presentation is, you're a step ahead of being prepared for that, which is really good because that's what's going to help you in obtaining what it is that you'd like, which is if it's in a conversation, if it's communication, or if it's in negotiating a deal, or if it's in coaching somebody, whatever it is, that's going to help you be much more strategic when you can know that. And the better that you're able to read and understand people, the more that you're going to be able to manage that. And then service is the ability to understand and meet the needs of clients and customers. So that's another part of the communication and the connection that you want to have with others. All of this is done through communication, right? So I want us to focus on really listening. And this is the flow of listening, right? So when we listen, we are trying to understand. We're trying to gain an understanding. And from that understanding, we are going to build trust, right? Because listening is hearing what someone is communicating to understand their experience or need. And when you respond to that need, you gain somebody's trust. So think about it from how we were talking about the way that it's going to show up for you, right? When we were talking about negotiating, when we were talking about finding the right applicant, we were talking about, I'm trying to think of what another example was on there, but we were saying about how, I'm going to go back to that slide. I'm so sorry. Yes, here. So determining whether people are being truthful, choosing the best job applicants, all of those things, right? All of these are part of gaining an understanding. All of these are you have to engage in conversations. So you need to work on your skill of listening. And that's what I want us to work on now. And that's what we're going to focus on, because listening is the root of understanding. And listening is one of the things that we have the most difficult time doing. If we can work on our ability to listen, we can then further hear and understand what people's emotions are so we can engage with them better. So let's do our first listening exercise that we're going to do, which is listening around you. And I want you to think of 3 of the most important people around you. And I want you to write down their names and write down 3 traits, hobbies, or features about each person. And I'm going to give you just 3 minutes to do this. So go ahead and write this down for yourself. 3 different people, and then under each person, write down 3 traits or hobbies about each person. Okay, I'm going to give you another minute or so. All right, so I hope everyone's done. If you're not, you can just continue. You can you can just continue to write it down while we're sharing, but I would love for someone to share to me. You can share in the chat, or if you would like to unmute yourself, please share how was that exercise for you? Was it easy? Was it hard? Why do you think this exercise has anything to do with listening around you?
I can take a stab at it.
Sure. Is that Angel?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Angel.
For me, the exercise was actually pretty easy because I'm known for being a listener within my friend group and family. So I tend to listen more rather than talk, and people tend to notice that. So for me, knowing their traits and hobbies was very easy to just lay out. I did it within 30 seconds to a minute.
Mm-hmm. Great, wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing, Angel. Anyone else? Anyone have a little bit of a difficult time finishing that or writing anything down? Anyone want to share why they think also what it has to do with listening around you?
Hi, this is Alana. So I think it is really important to listen to other people, because when you listen them, you like exactly you're more understanding them, what they want from you, and what you can give it to them.
Mhm.
It's not only about family, but also like with coworkers. The more you explore them, how they react on something, then you can be aware how to treat people maybe in a little bit different way.
Mhm. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Very well said, Elena.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Absolutely. So when you're listening, you're able to build deeper connections with people, right? Listening is the root of connection, which is what we need for relationship building. So with this exercise, for some people, it's fairly simple. And the three most important people around you, you would hope that you know traits about them. But sometimes we know maybe one thing, or we don't know clear identifiers. So if it's what that's telling us is that sometimes we're not listening to others, and it's not. And we have to listen in many different ways. We listen in a direct conversation when we're talking to someone, but remember how we said that listening and social awareness is also through nonverbal cues. So the more that you are aware and listening to everything around you that's not even directly being said to you, but is indirectly, the better that is going to serve you in being able to build good relationships. It's going to help you in effective communication. So if we practice this in our personal relationship, it can help us strengthen the skill for our professional relationships. All right. Now we're going to do a second exercise. And this one I call literally listening, because right now we did indirect listening and now we're going to do direct listening. So Ryan, this is where I'm going to ask you to please put the link in the chat. And you're going to go into breakout rooms in just a moment. And it's just going to be you and one other person. So it's going to be 2 people per breakout room randomly. When you're in there, you're going to decide who's partner A and who will be partner B, excuse me. You're going to read the instructions based on who you are assigned to be, and you're going to follow these instructions and engage in the conversation. So let me show you. I'm going to share this now. So this is the link that you're going to see. So I want you to look right down here. It says instructions. So between you and the other person assigned, who's going to be person A, who's going to be B. There's going to be 2 rounds. Each one is 4 minutes. So read the instructions only for who you are assigned. So if you're person A, you're going to read round 1, person A. If you're person B, you're going to read round 1, person B. All right, so you read it. Each one of you have a minute to read the instructions, and then 3 minutes for the actual conversation. Once you're done with that, then you come back and person A reads round 2 and person B reads round 2. And then you have 1 minute to prepare and then 3 minutes for the actual round, okay? So don't read the other ones and don't read ahead. Just wait until your breakout room and you will do that with your partner. Does anybody have any questions? If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. If not, then Tanya, if you're ready, I believe you will be putting them into breakout rooms. So we'll see you back in 8 minutes.
So can I just put them into breakout rooms automatically assigned? Doesn't matter who's in which room?
Doesn't matter who, just put them in. Everyone be sure that you have this link already, okay?
All right.
I'll see you in 8 minutes.
Sounds great. So it looks like all of the rooms are opened and people can go ahead and join into the rooms. So if you are not yet in a room, just go ahead and join a room. Anybody have any issues getting into a room?
So I was in a breakout room and I came back. So you could put someone else in there.
Okay, which one were you in? Does it say?
I think I was in 7.
Okay.
Yeah, room 7.
I don't know if we can put somebody else in there because I don't have somebody else to go in there. Let's see. Oh, Vianney, can you go into this room? Oh, I know what I'll do. Okay, I think I've got this figured out. Enzo and Jasmine looks like they're in their room. Great. Sarah, you're not in, are you able to join in that room? Okay, so I can put Ray into another room. Okay, oh, okay, perfect.
I know it was a little complicated. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. It's just, I didn't have, I just didn't have it set up quite right. Okay, looks like somebody jumped out of room 3. It was Sarah. I didn't think she was going to answer, so I took her out of that room. And I'll put her into room 3. It looks like somebody's just coming in. Brennan might be a little bit late to go into a room. Let me see if I can go ahead and put you into a room here. Okay. So if you want to join the breakout room, Brennan, then you can be part of the activity with Vianney, who will explain it to you. And looks like you joined. Okay.
Okay, great. They're in there. They're literally listening to each other. Let me tell you what they're doing. So one person is sharing a story of the best gift that they've ever gotten.
Oh,
And then the other person is listening, is paying attention, no questions, just listening. And then they're going to switch. And this person is going to share a story of a destination that they want to travel to. And the other person has to sit there and think about what they ate for lunch last week.
okay. Okay. Awesome.
And
So are you
so-
timing it so that we know when to make the announcement for them to switch?
Yes. They have 1 more minute in this one, and then we'll tell them round 2.
I can actually broadcast a message to all of them right there into their rooms.
Yes, I will tell you when it's time. So, and then they'll come back and they'll talk about the difference in their experience with listening. I just think listening is just so hard for people to do.
So weird to me.
It's so hard. And I want them when they're talking, when they're debriefing, to really think about how you don't sit there and think about what you ate for lunch, but you sit there and think about everything that you have to do. You sit there and look at your phone. You sit there, we're so distracted.
Yeah. Well, you know what I find that's the worst is when people are sitting there just waiting to talk. Like they're just waiting to say what they want to say. Oh, looks like Brennan hopped out of the room, so Vianney's by herself. Should I move her into another room or?
I mean, Vianney, you can tell them it's round 2, time for round 2.
Okay, so then so what do I say? Time for round 2?
Time for round 2. Oh, she's back.
Okay. And then Lena and room 4 asked for help. So I'll go ahead and so I can broadcast a message to Lena. Unless do you want to join her room? Can I put you into her room?
Yeah.
Okay, let me go ahead and move you into there. Where are you? Move to room 4. Okay, I put you in there. And then I saw, oh, I just lost her. Hi, Vianney.
Oh, hey, Tanya.
How's it going?
Good.
Looks like Brennan came in and then he left.
Yeah, he left. He said he had a thing, so he left.
Oh, that was weird. I wonder why he joined in and then left, but oh well. So I figured since you were kind of the odd one, I hope that's okay. Did you want me to put you with somebody else or do you want to
no, that's fine. I can just kind of hang out here until everyone comes back. Yeah.
All right, cool. There's Gwen. Hey, Gwen. Oh, you're on mute, by the way.
Of course I am. You're always on mute. It's always the case. I want you to know that I'm sitting on the floor. And I'm sitting on the floor and I have one screen here and the laptop here on top of shoe boxes and books.
I would have never known.
I came in early and I was like, Ryan, I need to figure out where to sit because I don't have a desk. And so I like sat in front of my bed and I was like, this is so obvious that it's a bed. He was like, yeah. And so I like turned it to the wall and I was like, how's this? And he was like, perfect. So,
Oh, that's funny. Are you moving or something? Or
no, I'm not moving.
you just don't have a desk? It's
I
funny.
just don't. So I sold my dining room table, which is what I worked on because I bought a proper desk, but I need to move my dresser over here so that my desk can go there. But I can't move my dresser by myself, and I have not asked anybody to help me.
Yeah.
I need someone to come over and help me move it, and it's just.
This is the startup that my husband wants to start. I guess we're recording. I probably shouldn't give away his ideas while we're recording, but yeah, he has an idea for a startup, and I keep telling him, hey, join the rec. Why don't you do that? And I'll help you start your startup.
Yeah. Okay, you can tell them, you can give them 1 minute to come back.
Okay, 1 minute and then they can come back. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know how you have your set, like close breakout rooms in 60 seconds or something. That's how.
Yeah. All right. So I think when I close all the rooms, it gives them like 30 seconds, maybe, or I don't even know if it does or not.
I think so.
I'm going to go ahead maybe and close the rooms then.
Yeah, go ahead. You can close them already.
Okay, yeah, it gives them 60 seconds there.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, yeah. So, all right. Well, then, welcome back. I see Melissa's here and Carissa. Everybody right now is in breakout rooms, but they'll be coming back in about 45 seconds. And then at least we'll get the second half of the. Oh, you guys were in a breakout room too. So you just came back. Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, I had to leave because I couldn't hear Carissa, and then I also couldn't open up. We're both on our cell phones, and we couldn't see the link in the chat. And so I wrote a message to send the link again, and it didn't seem like anyone sent it. But
I never got it.
Oh,
that's
yeah, my audio went out, and then I couldn't hear Melissa as well.
bummer. But you know what? We're learning, and that's good to know also that if you're on your phone, it doesn't work for you to get the link.
I did get the link, and then I opened it, and then Tanya, you were saying like, okay, join the room when the thing pops up, but then it wasn't popping up, so I left the spreadsheet and then went in, joined a room, and then went back to the chat, and it was gone.
Okay. So now we know it doesn't work too well with on your cell phone.
Yeah, maybe like a slide or something. I was like trying to read the slide, or I was like, maybe my partner will have a laptop in front of them.
Yeah. Oh, that's too bad. Oh well.
I thought I could multitask and get some exercise and learn at the same time, but
oh, sorry, Melissa. You are an overachiever.
well, I'll listen and think of personal examples when everyone else shares their thing.
Yes, you can listen. Okay, so I'd like to ask everybody, round one, how was round one? You had some questions from round one for you guys to think about. So how, person A, how did you feel after sharing? Did you notice any behaviors that kind of stood out to you, good or bad? Person B, how did you feel how do you think that person felt after sharing? And then any insight that you gained from this experience? You can unmute yourself or write it in chat.
I'll share. Oh, who was?
Go ahead.
Whoever was. Oh, thanks. I was just gonna share. I spoke with Jasmine, and she was a really good listener. We had a good conversation, and we didn't even know each other, but we have some things in common, like not being originally from the U.S. So it's cool to talk to people and find out there's something common that you wouldn't expect. So it was a nice experience.
Oh, good. Thank you so much for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else? I think Karen, you wanted to share?
Yeah, I met with Angela, and she shared her experience about living in New Zealand, and that she would go back to New Zealand as a destination. And she explained to me how much time she spent there, the different activities she did, like hiking and the things that she wants to do, like kayaking, some of her experience, the climate. And yeah, it was really great.
Okay, wonderful. All right, let's go to round two. So round two, tell me, the questions that we had were the same ones. How do you, for person A, how did you feel after sharing? Did you notice any behaviors from this person, good or bad? And person B, how do you think the person felt after sharing? What insight did you gain from this experience?
So Gwen, this is Ray. Hi.
Hi.
I think the challenge is that if you were person B in the second one and person A didn't have their camera on, although you couldn't see how this was working. So I don't, because we're not supposed to say what we read and what we're doing, right? So I'm not sure if it conveyed as much, although you can ask.
Did anybody have their camera on? That's a great point, Ray. Thank you so much for bringing that to our attention. Did anybody have their camera on for the conversation? We have in the chat listed here that there are 4 sheep to every human in New Zealand. So that was some great insight that somebody got. And thank you for sharing that insight. Okay, so I will share, and this is a great learning opportunity, right? In the sense that this activity needed to have cameras in order to be effective, because in the exercise for round 2, what you were supposed to engage in was to be looking at the person and look like you're listening, but you were supposed to be thinking about what you ate for lunch for the past week, right? And really the point of this is because we do that so much when we're engaging in conversations and we say that we're listening, but we're not truly listening because we're thinking about all these other things, right? We're so distracted, which really hinders us from hearing what the other person is saying so that we can understand, so that we can build trust. Remember, that is the objective, because that's key in relationship building. That's key in communication. So, but think about it, how often we do it, right? We're thinking about, oh, what do I have to do? What do I want to say in response? Those are thoughts that we're thinking about. We're thinking about, what do I have to do? I have to go shopping. I have to go buy this. Oh, I have to prep for this. I have to get ready for this exam. I have to do this. So, and the other thing that's our distraction, our phones as well. So it was really supposed to be an activity that would help you experience what that is like in a more dramatic way of when somebody is distracted and not listening to you. But good to know that one of the key things for this is to make sure that people's cameras are on. So that's I apologize on my behalf that I didn't realize that when putting this activity together. But I hope that you're still able to walk away with what the lesson is when it comes to listening. And I think you can still engage in this and thinking about what helped you listen. If you can use the annotate tool up top and you can write here, or if you did, if you'd like to just put it in the chat, but I want you to think about what actually helped you listen in this exercise when you were talking to this person right now. Use the annotate. If you're not familiar with where it is, when you go up to the top, or if it's the top or the bottom, there's a little pencil and it says annotate, and then there's even text. And you're able to write here. So write down what helped you. So maybe it was,
where is that annotate little thingy?
It is, so where you have your toolbar that says, mute video participants and stuff, you should see annotate. Do you see annotate up there? It's at the top.
Have it, sorry.
Anyone see it?
Oh wait, yes, it's under view options. Thank you.
All right, so we have not asking questions and just listening, making eye contact, allowing time for them to finish their thought, being genuinely interested in what the person had to say. So see, this is like a whiteboard and you can do different things. finding a connection or a similar story. That's great. We have another one that came in the chat. Stepping in their shoes and imagining how she felt. Thank you, Alina. Enzo, you put practicing active listening. So see, we know what helps us listen, right? These are things that we're aware of, but we often forget. We often forget of the impact that these things can make, something as making eye contact or even being genuinely interested in what the person has to say, and how that can help us engage in a conversation so that we are listening and so that we are then creating a deeper understanding, leading to trust. That's going to help us in all those different circumstances in interacting with others and understanding their emotions. Nodding at appropriate times. Absolutely. All right. So as a recap, here's what we discussed today. So social awareness is really about interpreting others' emotions, right? And how do we understand other people's emotions? Through empathy and listening. So listening is the root of all understanding, and it's the root of communication and relationship building. So by listening, we can understand others' needs and build trust. And so we have to practice these behaviors that support our ability to listen, which we just talked about. Oh, let me clear. I'm sorry, I didn't clear all drawings. I'm sorry. So we need to practice these behaviors that you guys just listed right now, which was making eye contact, nodding at appropriate times, being genuinely interested. All of those things that you talked about, those are the behaviors that support our ability to listen. All right. That's all the information that I have for you. I have one more session left when it comes to emotional intelligence, effectively managing relationships with others. That's November 2nd at 5 p.m. Please feel free to connect with me. And does anybody have any questions that they would like to ask? I'm looking at the chat. I don't see any questions in the chat, Ryan. Were there any there?
I don't see any myself.
Not that I see any. But just a quick comment. First of all, thank you, Gwen, for that was an amazing event, workshop. And then if you guys can please go and fill out that SurveyMonkey link that I put in the chat, that would help us get feedback. So thank you for that. And I believe that's it from me.
All right. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Gwen. And just a reminder, everyone, we are going to have one more workshop next week with Gwen. It's the fourth part of our four-part series. And thank you for coming to the penultimate workshop. And we will see you all again at the next workshop. Thank you all for being.
See you at the next one.
Gwen, bye. I was going to say, is there anything else you want to add? I think a lot of people are heading back off to their midterms. Bye, everyone. Take care.
Listen to me already. All they wanted to hear.
Thank you so much, Gwen. Have a good one.
Thank you. Thanks, Enzo.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Angela. Good to see you.
Thank you, Gwen.
Nice
Thanks,
job.
Ray.